To promote my new flower shop, I had one place print my business cards, another print my brochures, and a third, my signs. Now my roses aren't red, my violets aren't blue, my geraniums look dead, and I don't know what to do.
Staples can help your business stand out with signs, banners, and brochures that are a true reflection of your company. And now at Staples, spend $50 or more on print and marketing services and get $5 off your next in-store purchase.
Now my business is blossoming, and I'm spending less green.
Exclusions apply. In-store only. Ends 6/23/18.
Blog Talk Radio.
All right. Islam, 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 and welcome to Sisters Standing on Law. This is your host, Anna Ida L., along with my co-host, RVBey. Are you there? Uh-oh.
So,
are you there, Rob?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Can you hear me all right?
I can. You sound well today. You sound good.
Oh, good. Well, you never know when your earpiece is going to bottom out on you.
But I didn't. I thought that one that I have, the Janet Jackson Boom was charging, and it wasn't. These fancy, sometimes these big charging things. Yeah, man, they cut off on their own. And I'm like, well, what good is that if you're not going to charge? But
no.
It is charging now, so I'm going to try it. I really wanted to try it today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it would be so much helpful today for me, But it's all good. We got it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not sure.
Want to welcome everyone to this edition of Sisters Standing on Law. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's see. Whatever. Oh, you know what? Today's broadcast, I think is so appropriate. We miss what this whole nation building is all about, And because we miss what it is about, we miss a lot of the keys that are expressed, not just in the writings of Noble Drew Ali. In fact, every prophet that has come along, they have all tried to leave the same message. Every last one of them. None of the intent of every prophet has all been the same. And and this is why it's like so imperative that we look at the chronology of events that have taken place, going way back, way back. We like to start with Noble Drew Ali, but Noble Drew Ali is not the beginning. He literally told you that he is the last prophet, which says something. It says that there were prophets before him. And so we need to pay attention to what was the message of those prophets. Were they different or were they the same? If they were the same, what were they trying to say? And did we get it? So today's broadcast is entitled The Divine and National Movement. It's about all mothers waking up. It is the rise of the Moabite. Let us not get it twisted. The plea to the nation is a plea to mothers to wake up and stop allowing yourselves to be manipulated by those who do not want mothers to wake up.
To wake up.
Detriment of the family. Though they profess to be all about mother, because mother wakes up, the gig is up. It really is up. Because, see, the misinformation that is going on here is very simple, you see. And if we was to wake up and really look at what is going on, literally, we would see that the family has been sold out for people to engage in business, all right, where our family is sold to the highest bidder by those who have negotiated deals with various entities and people. Now, I'm not going to say entities because entities can't broker any transactions. Though they hide behind a fictitious entity, entities cannot broker transactions. That must be established by human beings. So when we look at the chronology of events, there is the sale of the family going on consistently, because it is only when mother gets in her right mind that she realizes that this is about what's going on. It's so obvious, but it never becomes obvious until we look back to the past to see what has been transpiring. And, you know, when I started looking at the history of the chronology of Islam, there's always one consistent theme. The family was divided and sold out for reasons of profit every single time. Every single time. How can this happen? Because mother is asleep. Mother is asleep, and mother allows herself to be manipulated. Because she allows herself to be manipulated, we have various fictitious entities that have been established, and they have been established to replace mother. And they have been doing this substitute mother thing. It's all across the board. They've been doing substitute mother.
Isn't that what surrogate is? Isn't that what a surrogate is?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. They have been doing this. They have been doing this substitute mother thing to the detriment of the family, and it is so blatant. It is so obvious. It is in every of our lives. If we were to look at the children has a substitute mother. When mother is not the center, anyone can come in and profess to be the substitute mother. Anyone. And unfortunately, you have people who unwittingly are stepping in and adamantly professing to be the substitute mother to the detriment of the family. And the sad thing is that this is a mental condition. It's a mental condition that goes so deep that when you attempt to tell mother or anyone else the truth, they literally attack. Literally. And this is what Noble Drew Ali meant when he talked about I come to take you out of your mental enslavement. This is self-imposed mental enslavement that we put on ourselves. And, you know, I had sort of like an exorcism, epiphany, let me think, last year, the latter part of last year. And as a result, I wrote my thoughts down into, and it actually became a book that had yet to be published. I don't know if we can even publish something like that because the truth is too sharp, and some that I can't even put into words. And exorcisms, and if it was an exorcism epiphany, but if I didn't make it out of the exorcism, it wouldn't have been an epiphany. But I was able, I was able to make it out of the exorcism. And so when I made it out of that, I wrote down everything that was coming out of me. And when I went back and I read it, the theme was consistent. It was so clear. Every prophet that has come, they have come attempting to deliver the same message. It has not changed. And I believe that Noble Drew Ali brought it the clearest. And still, we don't see it, even though it's right there on the front of the 101. It's right there. The ones that need to see it is mother. Because prior to this exorcism epiphany, I was absolutely certain that the one being that was keeping the nation from rising was the sun. After that exorcism epiphany and all that information came welling up out of me, and I went back and I read it, and and I was going through it, and I was like somebody in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean treading water, trying not to drown. And as I was treading water, trying not to drown, I was seeing this whole thing in my mind's eye. It was so absolutely crystal clear. And at the same time, I was having interaction. And I can tell you, if you're not strong, that kind of overwhelming energy, I can see why it wipes a lot of people out. It absolutely wipes a lot of people out. But I managed to survive, hang on by a thread long enough to get the lessons and end up on the epiphany end. And it was overwhelming. Of course, I realized this has nothing to do with the sun. It's not the sun that's keeping us down. It really isn't. It's mother. It really is mother. Nothing happens unless mother allows it to happen. It doesn't matter if she's conscious or not. Nothing happens unless mother allows it to happen. Nothing. It is in mother that the nation resides. It's in her womb is the nation. She came here with a nation in each ovary, and she has two of them. So she has a nation already within her. The nation is in the egg. What a lot of people seem to miss, all the eggs are inherently female. All of her eggs are female. The majority of the population on planet Earth is female. The plea is to the nation, which is her, because in her womb, she has the egg. That means every female that is born to the nation, and the plea is directed to you. So let me read the plea. Let me read the plea. This is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet makes plea to nations. Our divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful Moor members and the Americans in my great uplifting act of uplifting fallen humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. It is the great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of the divine and national movement. I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names to answer and apply to the free national concept calling on all true national systems to help me morally and financially in my great work I am doing to help this national government. For without a free national name with a descent flag of your forefathers, there is not a national divine title of the government in which we live. This is from your true and divine prophet unto all American and foreign sympathizers. Now, this is plea to nation, plea to nation. You have to understand humanity, or what is fallen humanity. You know, and a couple of years ago, we did, I want to say, a 10-week class at the National Theater, and the title of the series was called "What is it? What or who? Who is fallen humanity? Was it who or what?
I think, you know what, I got to look because it's on the site.
I think it was who was it? It was who or what is falling. It was who is falling humanity.
Mm-hmm. I think you did both.
And I remember thinking, what do you mean? Because I assumed that fallen humanity was all Asiatic people. But as the weeks of the classes unfold, I realized fallen humanity is mother. And as long as mother is in a fallen state, yes?
I apologize. I just want to say, on the Moorish Heritage and History class, we have all of the syllabuses for those classes, and we named it as class number 4, and it's called What is Fallen Humanity? And that's
what?
where we
I thought it
explain
was what? Yes.
Yeah.
What is fallen humanity? And that was the question that was posed to everyone. And through the 10 weeks, we brought it. We brought it from etymology to astrology to law.
Mm-hmm.
And as it was broken down, you got to see that fallen humanity is her. It's her. It can't be nobody else but her. And the reason it can't be nobody else but her is because in her womb is the nation. And continuous and consistent persecution of mother that has gone on and still goes on today, even by those who allege to be uplifting humanity. We see why she is still asleep. She's still asleep. She's grossly subjugated. She is consistently broken down. she's consistently attacked by everybody. I mean, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were honest with ourselves and we step back and we look at what is in front of us, we would see that she is attacked every day on a consistent basis. And sometimes some of that attack comes from the people right within this Moorish nation of people who allege to be awake. Some of it is intentional. Much of it is unintentional because we are still under that mental enslavement. And as long as we're under that, we're not even going to see that we are defeating the very purpose for which the Moorish movement, the Moorish divine and national movement of the world was established by Noble Drew Ali. Also, well, it was brought back. Also, what was brought back by Muhammad. Also, what was brought back by Yahshua. Also, what was brought back by Krishna. Also, what was brought back by Confucius. There's so many prophets that they have attempted to bring back this information. It's not new. They're just trying to bring back to the people a memory of what is. It's not new. And so we have to be clear what is it that we're participating in. When we say we're a part of this divine and national movement, what exactly does that mean? Are we running on ego, or are we truly assisting Mother in waking up? Now, assisting Mother in waking up, it does not mean to go out there and harass all the Asiatic mothers and talk to them. No, it means to reflect on your actions. Reflect on your actions and adjust them accordingly for the upliftment of humanity. Because I can tell you, everybody participates in tearing Mother down. Everybody who even has these so-called good intentions, everybody as they take as normal is uplifting Mother when in fact it's tearing her down. Everybody participates in tearing Mother down. Everybody. So, when it says man's business is about reflection, nobody wants to reflect on themselves. Everybody wants to run out there and act like they're perfect and they're martyrs. Nobody is perfect. No one here is here to be a martyr. You are here to reflect on your actions and correct them accordingly for the upliftment of humanity. You're not about that, then you automatically default to assisting and keeping the nation from rising. There's many people who have been absolutely confused. They think that the rise of the nation is a commercial activity, and every time they open their mouth to talk, it always is about commerce. This has nothing to do about commerce. It has everything to do for womankind, for women, for mothers. Many of us in our day-to-day activities demonstrate a gross lack of respect for Mother. And you demonstrate it in your actions, in your words, in your thoughts. And if that is happening, you cannot be about uplifting fallen humanity. You can't. It defeats the purpose. You are in any way, shape, or form attacking the mother. You are not helping in uplifting fallen humanity. And the ones that need to really, really and truly wake up to this is mothers. Because I know that when mothers are attacked by sons, you need to wake up from that. But when you mothers attack their sisters, now see, a worthy opponent of man, which is mother, is another man. The only one that can take a mother out, really and truly, is another mother. And everybody who comes after mother to take her down always has another sister somewhere in the midst, assisting in taking her down. Never fails. We have to stop participating in our own demise. We have to wake up to our part that we play in the continuing of mother to be fallen humanity state. We all participate in it. Sisters, you all participate in it. You can see a sister walking down the street looking as cute as she want to be, and you don't have nothing good to say about her. Or you can see a sister walking down the street, and she's as strung out and beat up as she want to be, and you have nothing good to say about her. We as sisters, our goal, our objective, we have to unite. If we do not unite, you will have everybody coming at us to make sure that we are divided. Because as long as we are divided, we will never rise. I don't care what you got going on. If we are divided, we will never, ever rise. And that is the objective. Everybody's running around here talking about the rise of some Moorish nation. It's the rise of the Moabite nation. Because if it wasn't for the Moabite nation, there would be no more familiar with the chronology of our heritage. Know what is what, who is who, know who is who, know what is what, know what it means to be a part of this Moorish divine and national movement, know what it means to, uplift fallen humanity, know what is fallen humanity, and if there's nothing else that you do, just like if there's nothing else you do to clear your nationality, if there's nothing else you do, reflect on your day-to-day activities to ensure you are not inadvertently participating in mother remaining in a fallen state. Because I'm telling you, many of us think that we do not participate because we have adopted foreign and alien habits that participate in keeping mother psychologically, have adopted these behaviors, and we think it is normal because everybody does it. But if we go back into the chronology of time, you will see it's not something that we ever participated in. And it's amazing because there have been a few movies that have demonstrated this, yet it has gone over the vast majority of our heads. It's time for us to wake up because I see that if we do not wake up, sisters, you're not going to be here. And the numbers are going to be small, but we only need one viable sister with eggs for the nation to rise up once again. You only need one viable sister with eggs for the nation to be repopulated, replenished. So when the prophet talks about the numbers are going to be drastically reduced, you better believe He's absolutely giving you a prophecy. It's a wake-up call. Do not wake up and make corrections accordingly, simply won't be here. And your children and your children's children will not be here either, because if you don't wake up, they may never wake up. It's all about the plea to the nation is the plea to mother.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I yield the floor.
All right. Wow. You know, I will say this. When I first came into this information, I was actually told that this is really about the rising of the Moabite nation. Now, I was green, so I didn't quite understand if it's about the rising of the Moabite nation. You know, I just believe that we have to go through it in this manner to get to it. In other words, we have to go through rising up the Moorish nation in order to get to rising up the Moabite nation. Now, you kind of understand that if you're going backwards. Like if you have something and you want to break it down, you have to know the components of it so that you can, you know, like if you put something together and you want to take it apart, well, you're going to take it apart in the reverse of what you put it together, naturally. So that's what the thinking was. So I was literally told that it's really about the rising of the Moabite nation. And again, being green, the one thing I did notice is that, wait a minute, it's Ruth the Moabite. Wait a minute, in the 101 it says the Moabite. We're descendants of the Moabite. And then understanding, I had to gain to try to understand the two. So the truth is that it is about the rising of the Moabite nation. I was told that, and I get it now more than I, of course, got it then. And then what you're reading, there are sisters, believe it or not, sisters that are listening. There are sisters who know this that you don't hear about or know about, and they not necessarily, because you're not going to hear or know about certain people until you go down that road that they're on. You know, and then we meet in the same because we are in the same direction. I mean, get that. This is not opinion. This is like logical, logistical stuff. So, and the prophet said that, you know, we all must be in the same direction. I get what he means by that. So once you go down that road, then you will find others who are down that road. Because we're all going in the same direction. So it was brought to our attention, and also by some good sons that know. You know, our sons aren't there. Our children, and whatever complaints we ever have about our sons, as Annie pointed out earlier, and I know I've said it before as well, years ago in the beginnings, or in the beginning of the teaching at the classes at MHHS. You know, whatever the problems we think we have, it's not the son's fault. Whatever problems we think we have, it's our fault. That's the burden for the sisters, for the nation. Like, this is why. Let's get a little logical. You got people out here, they're reinstating new this and new that, you know, and starting new governments all under commerce because they reflect what the modern Europeans are doing as the way to do it. Obviously lacking the true history and heritage. Clearly lacking it because those are Slavics. They came to do commerce. What's that got to do with birthright? To model after that is a grave error. And when I say grave, I mean grave in the grave 6 feet under, even, or no, shallow grave, because that's all we're in anyway, is this shallow grave. And me saying we're in this shallow grave, not just me saying that, that's what's taught in the secret societies. They even give you the reenactment of hitting her in the head. Now, of course, they're going to tell you it's a guy, but it's not. hitting her in the head and burying her in the shallow grave. So we're not just making this up. That's the secret. This is real, the so-called secret, right? So after that, they code and refer to her, and I'm taking you back to the womb now, refer to her as the grand architect. You can go in any Masonic lodge if you do a visit. It's right there. I've been there. I know. Some of you may have. It's there. The part that they let you see is unveiling. If you know anything, it's unveiling. If you know nothing, it just looks good, which is the part about having eyes to see, eyes that cannot see. So if you have knowledge, you see it. They're not hiding it. They are cloaking it. They may be codifying it. But if you have knowledge, so now they call her the grand architect. What do they say? What do they say? The grand architect built soul of man's temple. They'll say it's Solomon, and then they try to make a physical soul of man's temple building, all as a representation of the grand architect, which is she, who does what? Those eggs, you said that the nation is in the womb. Well, not only does she come here with the nation, she comes here with the nation in her womb. Here with the nation.
Substitute mother. That's the substitute mother.
She the real mama. She come with the nation, and they sitting there and waiting to devour her after. So not only does she have the eggs, the nation, and all eggs are female. Period. Scientific fact. Can't debate it. Done. Still can't figure out how, it is transmutated into a male specimen. It don't matter. It's still her child. That's it. That's all. That's all that matters. Came from her womb. Came from her eggs. Did not come from a sperm. And that's how sick this has gotten and how far off it's gone and how much of the suppression that it is to go away from science. So she's got the egg. She's coming here with the nation in her womb. And then she's the architect to build the body. Come on now. That's some powerful stuff right there. That's it. That's it right there. So they codify it and say the grand architect built Solomon's temple in the silence, in the darkness, with no hands and no tools. They're talking about your womb. And that's what's taught secretly, or it's kept to suppress. So this is real stuff. And people say, well, the Masons, they run the world. The Masonic orders, they run. Well, if they can suppress, if you, mother, can suppress, then anybody can run your world.
That's right.
In their body. And that's what's happening because you are not awake then to run it, do it, to know it, to be it.
Right.
Simple.
And how about this? How about this for a great travesty? The grand architect is the grand she.
You mean that's who's holding that position today? You mean? Oh no, you're saying that a grand architect would then be rightfully a grand she. She.
The grand she.
Yeah.
Grand architect is grand she.
Yes.
So look at that. Look at that mixed up.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
That's
so
a great travesty. That's a great travesty right there. That anybody who knows the science, they know who the grand architect. If you know who the grand architect is, you know who the grand sheik is.
Right, and look, the biblical scripts, they call Ruth the Moabite, do they not?
Yep. And then people try to take away her true title by calling her some Moabite. What the hell is that?
But we're only showing the sign, the subtlety, and the signs of, this infiltration, because all your womb, which is also referred to as the gate, as the star gate, regardless to their gender, because gender really in reality is just an incoming energy as opposed to an outcoming energy or outgoing energy for real. So it's referred to as They'll say negative and positive. Negative not meaning negative and a bad thing. It's incoming and outgoing. That's really it. But when when that's manifested otherwise, it's external. That's why the penis is external instead of introverted. But there's certain things missing. We've done this class. This is nothing we even have to talk about. Some people actually believe. Let me tell you how deep this belief goes. I mean, it's going to hit a stone wall. All we're saying to the sisters is like, let's wake up, crash into the stone wall. That's all we're really saying. I mean, really, in reality. When it comes down to the get down and you have to answer to whoever you think your maker or your God is or whatever, or in the end when you wake up or whatever, you got some explaining to do, Lucy, all right? So it's going to be like, duh? How did you think that? Did you not know that everything comes through you? So therefore it's shaped and formed by you. It's also shaped and formed by you before it is even presented into the world. How about that? Sisters, how about that? Before that child is even presented into the world, what happens? One, it gets crowned. That's number one. And before it's even presented, it is what you made, Ma. It's what you made. That's what you did. And some people, so when it comes to you entering, and we're trying to say before you crash into that wall right there, that's all we're saying. Wake up and steer in another direction because you're going into a brick wall. That's just like all of this, as you were mentioning earlier. We're going to start a new Congress. We're going to start a new republic. This is crazy stuff. It's craziness. The order should be always remain in order and to know why that happened. And then most all of that, I guarantee you, talk to the leaders, so-called initiators, so-called formers or the ones who established. Trust me, they all coming from commerce. They got their commerce, their UCC down. They got UCC identifications and shit. And then they go back to and reach to the Moorish nation. They're suffering because of lack of knowledge of who they are. And they pull you into that. Yes, ma'am. I'm telling you the truth. I know this for a fact. And this is what's happening. So again, we go back to the modeling and to what they're taking it from. And the only reason that we're doing that is because we're still mentally enslaved, as the prophet said. But they're doing this and they're doing that. We always talk about the consequences. And if there's nothing else you get out of this, get the fact that we always looking at the consequences of someone else's actions against us. They have become a massive critical mass, been doing it for generations because of the sleep. And we always are quick to talk about that. Well, that's the problem. That's why it needs to be fixed. It's one of those things, right? But we constantly talk about the consequences. Well, if you think that the consequences of what has been done has really been bad for us, it's getting ready to get worse. Seriously worse, because everybody, it's like in the universe there's cycles. And certain energies come and force changes or force certain things to come to the head or come to the front or be looked at. And if you don't have the right eyes, you're looking at it and you still don't know what it is. So when we say, and people have said, oh, the end of the world, it's not the end of the world. It's a cycle coming, and you're going to have to answer up to it. Simple. Just that simple. So right now, we have that cycle of energy that's saying, that is forcing you to make some changes. And the sad part is nature really doesn't give a daggone whether or not you know how to make them or not. That's the sad part. You think that these modern Europeans are treating you badly and all that, like that. You ain't seen nothing until you see the wrath of the universe or the mother, for real, the mother father that creates. No, you ain't think you've seen it. You have not, because these cycles are going to be forced. So let's look at it this way. So what you're going to do? You're going to either go this way or what people might call acquiescence. Like you don't want to acquiesce. No one wants to acquiesce. So that means that you're going to have to do something called strategy. And you talk about strategy all the time. If you know what you're dealing with, you just have to use strategy based on what you know to deal with it. It's not acquiesce, it's strategy that's used so that you don't have to. Because the sure end of where this is going, it's already been prophesied. Not by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, prophets before him. The Bible that you read, people see dreams and they read the Bible. It tells you in there. It says the devil, which is life, which is lived, reversed, quite frankly, because everything is reversed, is going to the pits. Yeah, that energy is going down. As it goes down, it wants to take as many with it as it can. Period. That's right there in all the writing. That's all going to the pit. It's going to take as many as it can. So it's going to fool you, trick you, do whatever. You better have some strategy. The thing where it is so for women is that every living, breathing human being that comes through here comes through your womb, and you're laying there on the ground like you're the damsel in distress. I'm not saying get up and put boxing gloves on and be masculine, because you are masculine. The man is mine, period. The sons only got what they got from you. That's it, and that's all. And when you go out, for instance, and you find a man that you think is real, however you like your man, whatever. You like masculine man, strong man, they do this, they're strong, they can protect you and all that. You imbue that into the child in your womb. That's what you did that. He didn't do that. You did it. And if you don't know you did it, it's called imprinting. Then you still do not know who you are. You don't know who you are yet. So they got a surrogate mom, and they got a system where now look at this. Look at what they have made. Let me tell you, they may as well put high heels and a circus. Let the circus begin as what they have done to our family and our sons. We should be shamed ourselves, not at them. Don't be mad at the sons. Don't be mad at, at them at all. We should, and not even to be mad at those who are perpetrating. You need to be mad at you, because you have to answer to this. You made this baby. Who made you? You did it, Ma. And if you don't see that while you were even carrying in those 10 lunar months, that I found out some people call indigo, that they use lunar. I ran into a sister down at the basin, and I was coming off a boat ride. I don't own a boat, okay? Just so you know, I'm just saying, I was coming off a little boat ride, and I saw a sister coming towards me. She was going back to her car. She must have had a craving for something at that place, and they were waiting for her maid and her friend, and she was like 10 lunar months. She was ready to go, ready to pop, and this stomach is just coming at me. You know what I mean? And she was a little short thing, and it was just a beautiful thing. She says indigo. When I asked her, how far along she was, and she said, what did she say? She said 40, because most people, they tell you 38 because they're dealing with the solar, and I understood that. Or something happened where she knew I knew that I was aware that a child is in the womb for 40 weeks instead of 38, because you're dealing with the moon cycle, you see? So, and then when you get to all this allegory about how the child is been in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, you got to start breaking down this thing, because that's in your womb where you are building this body. So now you're presenting this child, but first you crown them, male and female, don't matter. They're crowned, that's it. Then you present them. How can you present them and then think that, not know the power of the fact that all souls are coming through the body that you built, Solar Man's body, that you built, Mom. He didn't build the body, you did. Everything you did affected the building of that body, everything good, everything bad, or not good. Every experience, everything you saw, smelled, heard, taste, eat, whatever, built that body. Yes, indeed. and you don't know that. You don't know the power of that. So you're going to do that and say, oh, yeah, I'm serving them up. No. So it's about the rising of the Moabite nation for real. And Sister Annie, I just want to say you have to talk with my niece, the artist, about that cover, and we got that thing going because you got to change your mind. We're going to get that book out. We are. But you got to talk to her about the cover, maybe tonight if you get a chance, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we also found out that talking to other sisters, we didn't know. Like I said, there's sisters you don't know that know, but they're doing whatever they're doing. They're not the type of people that's going to be on a broadcast. They may not be the type of people that's going to ever be on a video. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It just wasn't their path. Neither was it ours. It just happened. But for some people it happened, and for others it never will. And so they know. They know, and they know that. For instance, what was read this morning, Plea to the Nation. He was talking to women. Absolutely, because you're the nation. So I don't know if you want to answer calls now. Let me just say this before we go. The class that we did call it, and this was, oh my goodness, let's look at this. What is Fallen Humanity? It's on the Moorish Heritage and History School page of the RVBey publication site, and under you'll see an owl. When I say an owl, I mean an OWL, and it says what does it say? I don't want to go back off. Let me open this up first, just in case I have a problem. What is Fallen Humanity? And then we subtitle it. It's underneath, and it's underneath the series we did called "What Are Nationality and Birthright." We had a series called "What Are Nationality and Birthright," and under that was we had all these classes, and class number 4 was Fallen Humanity. What and who is Fallen Humanity? And we all presented on this one, I think. Oh yeah, there's a few people under this particular series, but we had several classes. I mean, this went on for months. The different, and it says the illustration on the cover of the 101 questionnaire depicts the woman unconscious. Written across her womb is humanity, as she brings forth humanity, which must be preserved through her. There are 9 drops of water falling from her. This represents the time set in the womb from gestation to birth. Now, that's the solar calendar, though. It's 9 solar months. It's 10 lunar. 1 foot is on the rock of salvation, of which she is that salvation, and the other is in the cares of the world, of which she has become so enthralled in that she has lost consciousness of herself. When she awakens, so shall be the wrath of Allah, and then the great meeting will be on. So why do you think on the 101, the great meeting is on? Now, the great meeting is also on if you go to any meeting in the MSPFA or your Sunday school, particularly this particular questionnaire was designed, as it says, for Moorish American, for Quran questions for Moorish Americans. So if you've ever gone to a temple, or the intentions of Prophet Nubuju Ali is that the 101 is repeated. It's 101 questions. And you are supposed to, they say, memorize them. And they go through them every meeting. You know, the meeting is typically opened up. And after such, that's like one of the first things to be done. And it's one thing to mimic and remember it, but it's another thing to really understand what's in it. Because in understanding what's in it, you can actually defend yourself. You could, if you really knew, and didn't just mimic and did study and understood. You could actually present and or defend. I'm going to use the word defend, for lack of another word, yourself in all your matters. because everything is actually in there. But you have to study to understand it. And so therefore, it is why it says, out of the Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. So one of the things, and this is coming to me right now, because the MSTFAs have been infiltrated. This is true. So we talk about that to keep people from being, especially sisters and their children, because that's what it's for. The Sunday class is for the family. And out of the Sunday school comes the guidance of the what? Nation. Oh, yes, right? That's the Sunday school. Knowing Sunday is also the first day of the week. So it's not, some people put down the temples or they put down what it has become. It has become infiltrated, and those in it, for the most part, this is a fact, this is not an opinion, are also dealing out and doling out infiltrated information, period. It's a fact. That's not an opinion. But we're not throwing out Prophet Noble Ali and his works. Absolutely not. Because that's why it was infiltrated. Hello? So that it could stagnate those works, which would be to stagnate civics. Now, when you look at what's happening now and all these people guiding you into doing commerce, they're stagnating civics. Hello? It's another method in stagnating civics for civilized people, period. So let's turn it all into commerce. And the reasons they're doing it, they don't even know. Some of them don't even really know. But they went somewhere maybe and they got through on some UCC stuff or some birth certificate redemption stuff. That shit don't work. Let me tell you, are you listening? You can't redeem. You can correct things and all that, but you can't. It's the proof of human trafficking, and this is about human violation. So hello, why would you want to, glorify that? And see, if we had real understanding, we would get that. We deal with those things as they are to be dealt with. So all of that stuff, it's the brick wall coming, and the brick wall's coming. That's why you listening are probably, or who will be listening, if not listening at this point of moment, are going through something. Because remember, the prophet warned us all that everybody's going to go through a fire. This is true fire. So because that brick wall, you're getting run into it. So put on the brakes, and redirect. Force yourself to make some changes and watch and see how the universe will. Let me tell you, yeah, it's rough, but you gotta positive thinking. You really do. That's not something we were necessarily taught from the time that we went into these institutions, etc. But you do, and you don't have to be a special person in order to get this information. Like I always said, that people who have the gift to be able to see or talk with spirits. Now, they used to call them, something was wrong with them. At some point it became that. But it was never anything strange before, and it's really not. It's becoming more and more less strange now. However, because our foundation has not been founded in that. It's been founded in if the child can do that or whatever, something's wrong with the child type thing. And as you grow older, you try to fight it type thing. And then you go through this place where you think because you've met someone who can do that, they're so special type thing. It's not special. It is great, but it's not like a special thing. We're supposed to be in tune. So all we're saying is you're going into a brick wall. Whatever you got to use to put your brakes on and to really make these changes that we're all forced to make. You need to do them. And so you may be looking and saying, oh, this sounds so spooky dooky. Oh, my goodness, what do I, just do it. Because I'm telling you, Mother Nature does not care about your person or your station, meaning, the mask you have on, because that's what person is, to mask or even to show your persona. And then, because some people have on a mask that actually is one thing and they're another or whatever. We are complicated beings and we are, at least 3 levels deep. Whatever that mask is you wear or have, your person, right? And then whatever the station you have, meaning that, you've got a title. You're a grand chief, you're a head of this and a mirror that, or this, whatever the title may be that someone honored or gave you, that, it doesn't care. The brick walls in front of us all, period. And so we're saying for the sisters to wake up, because this is for the young and the unborn, and they come through your womb, and don't think that is not a well-known thing. In fact, you can't debate it. How you go now? Now they're trying, but here's an example of the brick wall. All right, they're taking and making men a man who not a man, because man is mine, man is us. What do you call what do I call it? The gender, the male gender manifestation into the male gender. They're telling them that they can do all kinds of things, be married, change everything about them or whatever like that. They're having your son start to take the babies from you at birth. They're doing all this reverse stuff, right? But that's a brick wall, because ultimately, even in those transgender marriages, if they don't have a womb, it's not happening. So now what? Oh, I know what. They're going to continue to take mothers' babies and have them adopt them. That's what's going to happen. There's so many that are, that are in that condition, and of course there's others where, well, they're still in the babies regardless. I mean, look at the recent thing where they have the, as you said, Annie, I don't know whether you wanted to. This might be a great time to mention that, where you have that picture of the dog in the cage and those children in the cage, because those children were at the border, and that maniac was saying to rip the children away from the babies. And they found that they had the children in cages, just like you would have a dog in a cage. You had kind of mentioned that earlier, because that's really kind of what's happening now. This is the intent, and it's just that depiction or that reality, because that's not a depiction. They literally had children in cages at these borders, and that's how they feel about children. But they're doing that anyway to us right here at the Family Services office. They just don't have the cages. They put them in some other family.
So-called family services, because it's not, but here's the thing. People call them family services. Actually, let me rephrase that. They call themselves family services because their intent is to continue tricking the people. The reality of the situation is, when they talk about family, they're only talking about family from a corporate company perspective. In the world of commerce, you have a parent company.
All right.
The parent company can be male or female. And that parent company can have a child. It can create a child. So when they talk about family services, they are not talking about family services from a human being perspective, because everything that they do is about company policies and procedure. Our problem as people is we have those within the family who are encouraging us to take up the battle cry of company and corporation, when Noble Drew Ali and every prophet that has come before him has tried to get the people to comprehend that this is about human rights violations. It's a human rights violation, and the people always, like the Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz, the good witch told Dorothy, you could have went home at any time. And Dorothy was like, well, how come you didn't tell me in the beginning? Because you wouldn't believe me. This is where people are right now. We're telling people right now, right now, right now, that this is about human rights. And your position has to be 100% human rights. They don't believe us because they're under that mental enslavement. And so they're chasing after commerce. And they're going to go all the way down that yellow brick road. And they're going to go through forests where monkeys swoop down on them. And tear them apart like the scarecrow, and rain water on you until you rust and you can't move. Or they will put so much fear on you that your courage flees. And you're going to go down that road, and it's going to be a rough road. It is. Only reason that you're going down that road is because you refuse to let go of that mental enslavement of commerce. We telling you now. So Ali told you, Muhammad told you, Joshua told you, all of these prophets have told you that you refuse to believe. Isn't that what the prophet said? He said, you are hard-hearted people. They never did nothing except by the point of a sword. Now you got people in here coming here. It just showed up yesterday talking about, oh, my God, our people are being kidnapped, and they're in these Roman prisons. Well, did you think the universe made a mistake? There's a reason that every last one of us go through these things, because we are hard-hearted people. We never did nothing except by the point of the sword. Every prophet has come to tell us, let go of that commerce shit. Let it go. But no, we're going to save ourselves, and in the process, we're going to get some money, we're going to get some land, we're going to get some cars, some of us going to get some girls, some of us going to get some guys. We're going to get some stuff. So we stay latched into this commerce crap that is a mental enslavement that the prophet came to free us from. But we don't want to let it go. So go on down that yellow brick road. Let the monkeys swoop down on you. Let them tear you apart like a scarecrow. Let them rain water on you until you rust and can't move. And let them put so much fear on you that you're maybe by the time you get to Emerald City, you will have gone through all your lessons, and now you can redeem yourself.
Yes. Yes. And don't forget that commerce thing. I mean, even for those who are the good Christians, they say, hell, Yahshua turned over the tables of the money changers.
The money changer.
He was young when he did that. Hell, he had no sense to know. But, and then for those who doubt, who may have that question, well, is that what the prophet wrote? Excuse me, he said, come, see the truth about your nationality and your birthright. You are not Negro, colored, and black. Come, link yourself back up to the family of what? Nations. And take your place amongst the affairs of what? Man. So, yeah, he was teaching that. It's about human, family, and nation work, period. That's first, because who you are, who goes there, heart who goes there is the first question asked, even when you knock on the door. Who is it? Who are you? Who goes there? And who you are sets the stage for all matters that you will deal with, regardless to who and what is doing who and what. Regardless to the fact that these people who we have erroneously thought was the governing authority over us, no matter, regardless of what they're doing, if you know who you are, you would know your relationship to that, because that's what, in a legal term, that's what status is. So like remember that, we have people selling status packages. Nowhere in it did it correct anybody's status. But people bought that like it was, the answer. So, so it's at a point now where you got to know. And if you don't know, you're gonna go into the brick wall. You're gonna get damaged.
But you know what? It has always been. The point has always been, you gotta know. Always been. Every parable, every riddle, every prophecy, every statement, everything. Look, the message has been the same. Nobody can access your mind. Chapter 1 says that man is mind. That means everybody manifests exactly what they want, and they manifest it in the mind. Now, what a lot of people who are new to this information, and still don't even comprehend, I'm going to tell you right now, I always know, years ago, back in the 90s, back in my Amway days, I remember this very wise sister said to me, I can tell when people are reading. She never told me how she can tell. But later, or maybe I should say months later, because I was duplicating what she had done. She read everything she can get her hands on. She didn't answer no question. She told people, go buy this book. Because, see, if you don't want to take responsibility for yourself, you'll never go buy the book. If you never buy the book, you just let me know I don't need to waste my breath. I don't need to waste my energy. I don't need to waste. You ain't going to take responsibility for your life and go get the book. I don't need to waste any of myself. Now, once you go get that book and you read it, you're going to come back, you're going to demonstrate that you read the book. And you know how you're going to demonstrate? By what you say. So I can listen to people who are talking. Sometimes it's a good thing to just be quiet. Because that way people will never know just how little you know. I know just where they are. And for all those people that's out there that think that, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to save my brother, or I'm going to do it for him. You're fooling yourself. You don't understand the science at all. Because man is mind. And you know what? If you don't get it, you're going to crash and burn. Because you're going to be running into that brick wall repeatedly. You knock yourself out completely. Or until you realize, this is not my lesson, this is not my manifestation. I love my brothers and I love my sisters. But all I can do is I can support you and support me, that I can encourage you. Don't give up. Support me that you're studying, I'm studying. Now we can sit down and build about a strategy. Support does not mean that we're going to start a study group and piss each other off, because some people are going to be fast, some people are going to be everybody's going to get pissed off. Study groups is not a part of our heritage. What is a part of our heritage is once we all study, we sit down at the table and we strategize, come up with a plan, and everybody has a part in the plan. Nobody is idle. And much of the plan really is done in the mind. So if you don't get that, which is the science of the Moors, which is universe, you don't get it. And that also says that you're running on ego, because you can look good, you can smell good, you can sound good, you can have the most fantastic presentation. It is not going to change the principles of the universe. So knock yourself out. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
So with that, it's about 2:30. Let's take a couple of phone calls. Hear from our listening audience. If you have a question, a comment, or concern, press 1 on your telephone dial. We'll take your call, answer your question, lend some support, something. And if not, if that was just a lot for people to absorb and they just want to absorb it, wait, got to call it. All right, call it 678-621. You are on the air.
Islam.
Wow.
I want to thank Sister Roz and you, Sister Anna Eve. Thank you for all the work that you do. And I had a comment. I wanted to say a lot, but I'm trying to figure out where to start. I was reading the Constitution, the Zodiac Constitution with MHHS, and I was looking where, a lot of our customs and things that, even the Christians base their religions off of with the Magna Charta. And I wanted to say with the temples, it's like been set with some of the brothers that, running the temples, it's like they took a lot of stuff and put it together. And I was listening to you, was talking about the CC codes, because when it first started, even looking at documentaries, they were saying that they never said put them on your identification card. And they was using the CC 103, CC 107, and CC 208.
I know what you're talking about, 201-207, 308, and 1-103, which all combined translates to all rights reserved.
Right. So they started using them. They did, and the CCs is put on my card. So when coming in, we come in as blind. We don't ask questions. We figure these, brothers know what they're doing, because, you have maybe some brothers, and I don't knock them. They teach some good stuff that say that they've been into, the movement for 20 years. They was there when Martin Luther King.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long they've been involved. Everybody is obligated to think about what they're saying and ask questions. Just don't be a robot and think and just agree. We're not. We do our best. We are at our best when we're tearing a concept apart. Because if we tear it apart and it can still stand, then that's principle. But if we tear it apart and it falls apart, that's not principle. That's something else.
I do want to, and I just want to add in something with those UCC 1-103, 208, etc., like that. This is another good example. Many people use that because they really do take you back to your rights that are reserved. But specifically, I know I went in, and a lot of people may not have, but I went in and I have it somewhere on I think I may have put it up on the site. I'm not sure. One of them simply says, when you read it, that I will not enter into any contract that is not in harmony with natural law. The other one says, I will not enter into any contract that is that is not fully disclosed. That's what the 308s and the 2, I can't remember which is which. That's what they literally were saying, coming off of the UCC, bringing it back to the constitutional fold or to all rights reserved. So what we discover is all rights reserved covers everything. So it's not totally wrong, but the problem with that, the problem with the UCC, and it happened during the time that I was in this, they added, I think with 308, they switched one of the numbers to 308. So then people had to start using 308. It wasn't 308 before.
What they did was they removed
right.
207, but because they had used 207 and they have it archived in some of their literature, some of their documentation, you can't just delete it. So what they did was they didn't delete it, but if you go and you look in the current UCC codes, you will not see 207. But here's the thing: see, a lot of people don't realize that. Look, the key word in this whole thing is commercial. That's the key word. And everything is commercial. So, what are we talking about? And see, this is why you have to. Studying don't happen overnight. It don't happen in 6 months. It don't happen in a year. All right. People need to take time to study so they know. So, and I can tell you from my own experience, when I came into this information, just like today, there was people who was trying to rush people into doing things that they wasn't going to be able to stand on. And because people are falling for that, that's why a lot of people are finding themselves tangled up with these municipal employees. This is why. It's not necessarily because, they're out there just arbitrarily waiting on more. No. It's because Moors have been encouraged in one way or another to do something that they're really not prepared to address, which is a disservice to the nation. So the whole you need people, like I said, people need time to study everything. But the first thing that has to study is the supreme law of the land, because you can't move into other areas unless you have the supreme law of the land down pat as your foundation. You don't have a foundation. You know what I mean? Like you can't move on to anything else, contract, anything, trust, whatever. You can't move on to that unless you have a foundation. And if you do, you are being set up to fall.
Right. And see, that example, I just wanted to add, too, that example is a great example as to why we ought to stay in the foundation, right, of our rights being reserved and retained, because to retain, only you can retain them. If you don't retain them, they're not retained, all right? They have to be retained by you. But that example of them changing the UCC is the prime example of what we're saying. It's like they'll change that, but they can't change that foundation of all your rights, of you reserving and retaining your rights. That cannot change, So it was a perfect example of exactly what they start doing. They start looking at what we're doing and having little think tank meetings and trying to throw a curveball here and a curveball there. That is.
And you know what else? I want to interject. While they're doing all of this activity, all right, our people, we need to be real with ourselves. Many of our people don't know how to write a writ. Don't know how to write a cause of action. Can't, they can't. And see, I have been reading people's cause of action for years. Our people don't know how to write a cause of action. They think that they know how to write a cause of action. They don't. And I will say this: if you need somebody else to write it for you, should be doing nothing.
My thing is, I would ask someone to help me format it, because it's like I have a lot of keys and ammunition, but just putting it together, it's like I don't want to. So too many things.
That's where most people they start out wrong to begin with, because see, a cause of action, that's all you need to do is sit down and write what you experience with one or all of your five senses. That's it. That's
what happened? Right. But I understand what she's saying. That's called consulting. So, like, you could say, well, wait a minute. What's the format of this? Oh, this is the format of that. But what it contains, you have to know. Because, like, as you're saying, Anna E., nobody was there. I mean, the very, 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 very first thing is a cause of action, meaning what happened? We weren't there. How could anyone else who was not there ever write that? Can't happen. Only you could, the person who was there, and that's why the other thing is a first-hand witness. If anybody wasn't there, they could throw it out because nobody can write that didn't witness anything. So this is so consulting about the format to do this, that, or the other. That's one thing, but actually, what goes in it depends on your situation. If whatever the situation is, and everyone. Although the foundation, this is a great lesson too, although the foundation for us is the same, if we know what that foundation is, it comes from, did you have any of your rights violated? Period. Well, how can someone write anything to that effect if they don't know what their rights were violated? Because they think it's government. And Annie, you say it all the time. Do not write the cause of action and call these people law enforcement. Do not write the cause of action and call these people government authority. Do not write the cause of action and call a private security employee just because he has on what you call a police uniform. Don't call him a police officer because we know that officers and somebody that's elected, that's not what they are. But that's what we call them. So now if you write it like that, you just what's the word? You're in error. You're just in error. Because you gave them, in many cases, a power and a title that they don't have. Just because they've taught us that they do have it. That's all a part of the suppression, all a part of the reversal. Everything they do is a reversal. Our position to their position, to the people's position. Like, that's it. So I just wanted to add that in there. So, and if you were speaking to her specifically about a cause of action, I think you wanted to make clear that it does not necessarily have any case laws in it. Matter of fact, there isn't any in it. It's just what happened. Because it's like this. Like people used to go to attorneys, and the attorneys used to say, all right, we're going to have a deposition. So when they call a deposition, they're getting from you what is really the cause of action. What happened? Then they look at it and decide, well, let's see, that's a violation. After you write what happened, that's a violation. Which way are we going to strategize to make charges? That's all that's happening. And it's based on what? It's based on what the hell happened. I mean, that's logical stuff right there. So even if someone says, well, I want the Moors, I don't know who's the Moors, or we're all Moors, to help us, it's like, let's say there's 5 or 6 different Moors. Say, okay, well, what's up? You can't write a cause of action to tell us what the hell happened. How the hell can somebody help you? It's just, when you look at it logically, it doesn't make sense. See, so we say, well, yeah.
My thing was being, specific on the writs, keeping it in the formation, you know what I'm saying, and being on that subject instead of jumping and cramming everything, you know what I'm saying, on there. So it's like just being specific, because at the time when I was in a situation, I had paid some brothers, and only time I had got a chance to, communicate with them was on Skype, and I paid them $500, and it wasn't no good. It was it was a motion. It was a motion, and really when they did it, they put the title of actually say my name on there, and they used all capital letters, AKA, and they used the TM and all of that, but it didn't work. So it's like I had to do it on my own, like when what they would call them, so-called bounty hunters. They read it and they was like, good job, but you could have did it yourself. They knew I didn't do it, and they was like, all you had to do is use case law, so and so versus so and so. And I could have did that myself. So yeah, I got duped from my own.
Well, it depends on what you. It depends on what you were doing in terms using case law, so we don't really know the specifics. But what we hearing is, okay, so you paid them $500. Yeah, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
They didn't
so
have
you paid.
They didn't have any case, any really, evidence on me. They created, I'm saying, a false, evidence when they charged me. I was actually asleep when they woke me up out of my car and pulled me up out of there.
Wow.
And
so let me.
So
did they ask for discovery? Did they in any of the papers they did for you for the $500? Did they put in and request a discovery?
No, they did not. Not at all.
So let me just say this. So hearing what you just said, you said, I don't even know what this was about. They had no evidence on me. So now, a writ of discovery is a question document, and it needs to be established and obtained before you can even think about defending yourself, because the writ of discovery brings forth all that they do have. All right? It brings forth all they do have. So that way you say, oh, let me defend myself against this right here. Because if there's an error or if things are lacking, now you know what the discovery is because you requested it and it's a part of law. I mean, it has to be, and you have to stand on it until you receive it. Every time they tell you come back to court, I haven't received the discovery yet. I can't defend myself properly without it. All right, I've seen people, and even myself, ask for it, and they don't want to give it because they just want to roll everybody through. And so one time I went in, and I'm like, I haven't received discovery. So then in that particular hearing, it was written down as an order that the people gave me a discovery. It was in the court records and my records because I don't trust their records anyway. But nothing was moving forward, and they said you must give this. It was stated. But if I hadn't asked for it, which many of us Moors don't because we don't know, we get it. But I'm saying to you, in that would have been what they think they have on you before they can bring you in front of anything to have any kind of order. So now the other thing I wanted to ask, at the time, possibly you weren't going in as with your title, RVBey, you were just going in because they AKA'd you. When you said AKA, I'm like, wait a minute, it's supposed to be X-rail. In other words, if you were going in with your free national appellation and everything else, that the non-de guerre that you previously had, which people call a government name, a strong name, what else? They call it all kinds of stupid stuff.
They told me not to even use that, so it's like trying to keep me away from that. Even when not a prosecutor, but when they send someone to defend you, and at this time I was behind the bar, so I couldn't really speak or say anything, and nothing was in place. So what he told me, I couldn't use that. I couldn't change my name. That's what he told me. You can't change your name.
Okay, so check it out. Even with that, a discovery would have given you the necessary information of the so-called evidence that they say they had against you. It is a primal, necessary document. Because otherwise, just like you just said, I was awake and I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, what's up? What is it that you have supposedly alleged? Everything is, and listen, everything is alleged until it is proven. Alleged. Okay? So when they call you a defendant, you put alleged. You don't buy that. You don't hold that. Alleged. Because that writ of discovery and whatever it is they think they have evidence against you tells you what it is that you're supposed to be defending. And without it, you could never know. Okay? So the first thing those brothers should have done was that we're going to put in a writ of discovery so we can find out what it is they have on you, because you know what happened. But when they write stuff, they lie. So even if they gave a writ of discovery and you saw lies in it, then you punch holes in that. But without it, you wouldn't know what to do. You don't even know what's going on. So, now, Annie, what do you have to say about the fact that you paid for I'm hearing it from sisters a lot. It's not just sisters. It's anybody. but especially sisters. I think it goes right hand in hand with what we're talking about today and how women need to wake up. You're not the only sister that we have heard from, because the truth is that if the people are not working in the position that your mother, right, and who you are, then no matter what happens, they're coming from another position, and there's nobody out there that can really help mother come from the position that she comes from, because it's her position alone. So you're not going to find many. Now, you may find some, say, for instance, you were seeking counsel from these brothers. All right, let's get real. So they may have been good brothers, and there's some out there, and they would have been able to assist you in that manner, but from your position of mother, not from other position that they don't have. So clearly, they don't have that position. So when you really realize what it is, you find there's far, if any, of them brothers out there that is going to be able to assist you from mother from that end, because they're not thinking on that end. Period. So it has to come from her. Doesn't mean you can't get assistance, but it has to come from that position. They don't have that position. So now the sisters feel even more left out, kind of, sort of. But guess what? Nobody's been walking in their shoes, because they're only your shoes to walk in. Islam.
That's right. Yeah, I said we need to pull up and pull together, because it's like I could see where we all fall, because we have like family members and, working for these corporations, even though, they're standing on the other side, and it's like we actually Moors fighting against Moors, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I would look at it like crabs in a barrel. They want to keep their position out here in their jobs and their seats, and they want to get in the next, in the next seat and get, to the top to get their hands on the fiat. And it's like they're keeping each other down. And there's some Moors, you know what I'm saying, that using others for pawns, to send them out there with these documents that they create. And it's like I was listening to a brother that from the Washita Nation was saying that, these people selling, documents and packages, and they can't even stand behind it, that's, pushing those documents. And it's like they ghost when anything goes wrong, and then they'll tell you, you must have used it wrong or you did something wrong. And it was, my thing, they would say, you manifest it. And it's like, you don't manifest. It's like a group of, as RVBey would say, melanin people together, you know what I'm saying, in a group. They can manifest and make things go wrong, but then you got, a lot of melanated people, working these beats and things, and it's like when you see, you get in a situation, they the one that's on the other side. So it's like, I don't care, it could be your sister, your brother, somebody in there. They don't have your back. They for the corporation first, not for you. So it's like me waking up and seeing it.
But see, this is exactly why Noble Jew Ali said, be careful. Some of your own will put you right back to slavery. I mean, specifically, just some of your own land servants and peasants. Just because you don't see them with the fez or the turban on, don't mean they don't be wearing it in another place. Basically, what that is saying is you are obligated. We are all obligated to do our own study and research. We're not supposed to be dependent on anybody to handle our affairs, because guess what? We got that now. All right? We say Moors cannot be represented, but we got people out there talking about, hey, I'm going to represent you. No, you're not. I can present myself just fine. And if I can't present myself, well, then guess what? I ain't got no business stepping out into that particular ring, because that's all I'm gonna do is get beat up. But here's the bottom line: whatever happens is all a lesson. And sometimes, these lessons happen to us that actually is a win. But we look at it because we are looking for them to say something specific. They're not going to. It's too many people who are content to stay asleep out there that they can make money off of.
Mm-hmm.
But when they give you your opening, take it. And if you know what? And because of all failures, like you know, I have had some cases that were not dismissed in my life. You think I had I can tell you I presented it myself. You think because I didn't get a dismissal or a knowledge that I was sat down in the corner having a flip tantrum talking about this stuff don't work? No, I never said that. You know why? Because I know the law is the same for everybody. Just like the sun shine on us all, the law is for everybody. So I had to have missed something in my presentment, so I fell back. I analyzed my strategy, and I came back to take a bite at the apple. And I continuously took a bite until, you know, the universe basically brought something else to put that aside. But, you know, if we really do what we're supposed to do and study, and we allow the universe to guide us, the universe it'll let you know that's all we are supposed to do is study. The universe will bring whatever is supposed to happen to your front door for real. Like whenever it's time for you to, because all of our lessons, so when it's time for your lesson, the lesson will knock on your front door. Trust and believe. It will knock on your front door. You're not gonna avoid it. You might avoid it for a time, but you ain't gonna avoid it completely. That's the lesson. Because look, can't be all talk. Support what you gotta. When we do all of this studying, okay, there comes a time when you have to now internalize what you have read. So when lessons come, we shouldn't be having a little hissy fit. Oh my God, they're back. No, you should have been expecting them. That's what life is about, right? In chapter 2, I think it says a soldier never knows his fault. And what is it? A soldier without
he never knows his strength.
Yeah, so life is supposed to have challenges because that's how we sharpen our senses. And the sword is our mind, not a literal sword. So that's what we have to be about. But sister, I thank you so much. I would love to build with you some more. And I know I said it all the time, and then I never get around to building. But I don't know what your specific situation is or was, and in an open mind is not the place to go into it, or even to really get into talking strategy. But what you can do is send an email to MHHS Eyes Wide Open and just send us your phone number, and we will call back and build with some more.
Okay.
All right, because we got a couple more callers. It's like 3 o'clock now.
Okay, I do have a lot to say. I wanted to hit on something else about, a brother tried to pull me out of it because he was trying to awaken me, how, that they've been using the Moors and the Moabite and exalting it, using it under even drug rings back in the time called the Blackstone Rangers. So he gave me a document, on the Blackstone Rangers and how they using it as codes, the Moabites and the Moors under codes for drugs. And this was a time when Gaddafi was funding them, and it was a big drug ring, which was called the Blackstone Rangers. So they start calling themselves the Moabite. So that's a good document to check out. So
I'm not sure. I've got a picture of those Blackstone Rangers, the brothers with their fezzes on. So I'm not sure. In other words, if they knew, if they knew they were Moors, there's a lot of Moors who know they're Moors, and they may do some unsavory things. That's one thing. But they didn't. So you're saying they were Blackstone Rangers, and then they went and started calling themselves Moors.
Under the code, they was using the Moors and the Moabites for a code name to keep pushing the drugs. And on there it was talking about Jesse Jackson, cousin. He was a part of it. So it's a really good.
We'd like to see what you're talking about.
The black.
The article. Can you send it to MHHS Eyes Wide Open at gmail.com? We want to see, because I have a picture, and I didn't know the history. I mean, I think there's a thing. I hear what you're saying, so I want to know if that's probably real. Right. So if you was
brother, I did it from, he rocks with King Noble. If you're familiar with King Noble, because King Noble has a lot of documentaries.
King Noble, out of North Carolina, that guy.
Well, he's on Facebook somewhere. And he has a lot.
He was doing a lot of commerce. If it's the same one. See, the thing is we all have a lot of information, and piece here, piece there. But unless we have the right perspective on it, like some of it could be propaganda, some of it could be true, some of it could not be true. You don't really know, So I'm not sure about. I just know that these people used to call themselves the Blackstone Rangers. So maybe it's true that because they got feathers on. So maybe there's some truth to that. There's more today that might be selling drugs and doing things, trying to. I understand they're trying to get out from under it because of the jurisdiction issues. However, if you do something that is not correct, it doesn't matter because the universe checks you for that. See what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
That's what we all have to answer to. But I'd like to see that article, compare it to this picture I have, and see what's up. All right?
Yeah. Yeah, so because he was trying to pull me out to pull my coat to let me know that now we're in a situation that, even with the U.S. president done changed, that the Moors is used as,
Hold on a minute.
Hold on. No, finish that. Even with the U.S. president, the Moors
is like terrorists. Like other words, we're a target as being terrorists now, so that's why he was trying to pull me out of it.
Okay, that's not true.
Whatever that brother is telling you, that I'm not gonna say it's false, but he's directing it at the wrong people. All right?
That's
because the beginning and the end of the day, these white Europeans came over here to engage in commerce. So when they talk about terrorists, they're talking about people who are terrorizing them in the marketplace. More
they're not talking.
Don't have jack in the marketplace.
and let me
add, got a merchant. They ain't got one merchant, not one piece of merchandise in the marketplace. So until we get something and that we have, developed from the land, because that's our heritage, all right? Until we get something that we have developed from Mother Earth to put in the marketplace, that does not apply to us. We ain't in the market. We're talking about we're terrorists. We're not terrorists. We're human beings. I can tell you who they classify as terrorists. Anybody who impedes their ability to, compete in the marketplace in a negative, fashion, and even that, you have to know what you're talking about in terms of how exactly are they preventing them. Because competition in the marketplace is one thing, but when you have intentional sabotaging, that is terrorism in the marketplace. That ain't Moors. Moors don't have, I only know one Moor, literally, that has some merchandise and is in the marketplace. Now, I'm not saying there isn't others, because, Moors ain't just get here. We've been here a long time. There's probably a lot of elder Moors But these young Moors that ain't got a pot to piss in and just hanging out causing trouble, they don't have some merchandise to compete in the marketplace. So that's not talking about us. That's somebody who don't know what the hell he's talking about.
And can I
serious wishful thinking?
Can I saw on somebody did a Facebook post and they said the same shit. You know what they said? They said, "Oh, RVBey Publications is marked as a terrorist group." Now that's some bullshit. Because first of all, we don't have membership to be a terrorist group. That's number one. We share information that is true, and we put it together in a concise way. What's the word I want to use? It's well done. Let's say that. So how's it freaking possible? But they'll say that because they're grasping at straws. And then people like this brother here, King Noble, he probably went out. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Did some stupid shit, and now hiding behind the conspiracy theory crap. That's all. That's it.
I haven't met him personally. I know a brother that rocks with him.
Well, whoever rocks with who, it doesn't matter. There's a whole bunch of people rocking. Hell, they got the USAR coming together with the conflict. All that shit is commerce. They're rocking together now, and it's a big wave, and all of it is based on the commerce. So what I'm saying is that that happens a lot. They get their asses, get their behind, beat, spanked, and they should going. You know what I'm saying? And then they fall back, and then they just start putting up all the conspiracy stuff, and like that. Like it would have been better for them to say, listen, these group of people, because we're all Moors, whether we know it or not. Although we need to claim it and be it. See, there's a difference. We did a class about identity. I think you did it Wednesday night about identity. Identity that which presents itself is the same, and such like that. So it's like these Moors he would have been better off saying, well, they used to call themselves the Blackstone Rangers until they found out that they really are Moors, and so they went into their status, their culture, etc., put on their feathers, blah blah blah. Maybe they did used to sell drugs some way. Maybe they stopped some.
They used it for a cover. That's what they were using it for. Covering the code. To keep pushing it.
That's what they're saying. So let's just say they were. And so what's the relevance? Let's just say that's what. And the relevance is what? Don't mean nothing. But anyway, yes, especially to you and what you got to do for you right now, me and what I got to do for me and every other family out there. All right, so that's all it would do is prove that there is a power in the jurisdiction and in being who we are. That's what it would prove. Period. It doesn't mean that what they were doing was right, but that's to be judged otherwise. All right, so we'll look for that article and get back to you. Thank you.
Okay. It's actually a documentary.
Oh, it's a documentary. Oh, okay. All right, I'll try to find. Okay, just send the link and we'll have it. We'll share it with each other.
Okay.
All righty. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your call.
And thank
you.
you.
Don't forget to email to MHHS Eyes Wide Open with your phone number.
Okay.
With the phone. Yeah, put the phone number on there. Right.
All right.
All right.
All right, caller 313-491. You are on the air. Hopefully. Islam caller 313-491.
Islam family.
Islam.
How are you doing? I'm MHHS, calling from Morocco. Here, what they call Houston, Texas. And I wanted to thank you for a wonderful presentation, as always. Don't mean to be redundant, but I wanted to. I was doing a little bit of studying or some past lectures of the Constitution, the series of the Constitution, And I think that maybe in one of the, might have been Article 2 or 3, Mother Anna E mentioned something when you mentioned something that another brother had told you that the remedy is in the instrument. And I sat back on that and sat on that for like a couple hours. And then I looked at some of the issues that I was dealing with. And I just slowed my mind down, and I said the remedy, when you're dealing with when you know the Constitution, you know what I mean? Of course, you got both Mother Roz and Mother Annie always says you have to have the Constitution as your foundation. And knowing that the Constitution is your foundation, any instrument that you come across that you could analyze, and depending on how well you are, how skilled you are in the Constitution, you can pick it up on how faster. But, you know what I mean, for me, I have to do it a couple times. I have to study a couple times, even the lectures. I have to do the lectures that you do. Listen to them maybe 2 or 3 times a day, so I might miss something, because I may take in one thing and go look a word up and then apply it. And then what I'm meaning to say is that was so profound. It was like a sentence. But every instrument that I've come across, dealing with the situation that I've dealt with over the previous year, the instrument that they gave me, they remedied it. They let you know in their instruments that they're violating human rights. They tell you a statute. They tell you the person, the corporation that's doing it. They tell you that actually the quote unquote supposedly officer or quote unquote supposedly surety or principal or whatever. They let you know in all the instrumentations, it's super duper wide open. But if you don't know who is who and what is what, and then have the combination with the combo punch of the Constitution as a foundation, then it will be tough and trickery. And you will fall for the trickery, and I will admit that I fell for the trickery and the deceit, and that's a stain, and I bring all that back just to say that when Mother Anna Eve said that it was the sister's fault about a lot of things, a sister's energy, I hope that brothers don't take it as like brothers it's the sister's fault. I feel that Mother Anna Eve only said that as a challenge to the sisters, because brothers are out here doing this. Because I was, the sister just got off the phone and said she gave her brother $500 to do something. You know what I mean? That's betrayal. That's betrayal. My situation, and I'm pretty other Moor situation as well. They've been dealing with situations of betrayal, and usually they come from a egotistical brother. You know what I mean? Full of himself, full of that English mentality, because he got a little something. He got a little backdoor masonry thing, and I can say that because I've 19 years old, went through that process, and then realized that was. But now when I came into this a few years back, that means nothing to me. That means nothing. That means nothing but it's a fraternity of losses and betrayal. That's one thing you can say. You can see what it is betrayal. Brothers just rolling, betraying each other, betraying the mother. And to make a long story short, I just mentioned that I wanted to say that I hope the brothers don't take that and run with, because you can see it. Brothers are doing that. And for the sister that just said that she gave her brother $500, that's $500. I don't care what nobody say. It's fiat, but it's $500. Something she could have did with something. My situation was a little bit 3 times more than that, but at the same time, once you come into yourself and and you have a foundation, you can go back, and go back and protect and defend yourself and be right and just with the Constitution, because that is the law. That is the law of the land, and it's brothers out here that I know. Certainly, and every time I see it, and even the vibration in your music, if any brother out here that's degrading women on any path in your music and anything you portray in the family, it's that simple. if you, that's your mama, that's your sister, that's your daughter, that's your whatever. Anyway you walk down the street, you say, yo, she got a fat da out loud, and the little 7-year-old boy looking next to you, what he gonna say to the next woman? That's betraying your family. That's betraying. And it has to get that simple for, I think, because for some brothers, it got to get that simple for us so we can get it. So we can let the mother do her thing and let the sisters become who they need to become and vibrate how they need to become and roam and reign. So with that, didn't mean to be too long-winded. I yield the floor.
Well, I just got to say thank you, brother, because what I recognize and what you are saying is you are so right. It's not a competition between the mother and the son. It's not that, but it is all about the mother and the son in that relationship in nature. And that is what they use to keep those quote unquote what they call secrets. And most of us do not have that in line. So we realize that no matter what we say, it always looked as if we were making a competition. There is no competition. And then even now, when we say, listen, sisters, this is in your hands, which is real talk, they still, as you had said, we hope they don't take it that way, they still take it wrong. And that's just because of how steeped, I guess, in this falsehood I found out, like, wow, we can't even say that, look, it's our fault. Everything's our fault. Even if we did that and we need to fix it, it still doesn't come out right to them. And that's why it's like, look, it's just too bad, too late. Because if the fallen humanity, if anybody falls right here, they can't get up somewhere else. They have to get up where they are. So if this is something that we have to fix, it's not that the sons can't assist. That is their duty. That is their duty. But they want to fix it, and they can't because she has to do it. So I even gave a scenario like, all right, let's just say our sons have the mindset that you have right now, brother. That's a wonderful thing. And you all lined up. And you said, we ready. We got it. If the mother doesn't have it, that's wasted warriors. That's wasted sons in a way because she's the one that is going to continue bringing the babies in. So she has to wake up to this. She does, and stop complaining. And that's the point that we're making. And even with that, it just doesn't seem to come out right. So maybe a son such as yourself or other sons who are, in that same frame need to recognize that they are what is called chapter 2 son, which is in the Circle 7 Holy Quran, where it clearly says the son shall be the first revealer of the light or the information. Absolutely. It says that. It says that. And then it also says if he has been given the light. Well, who gives him the light but the mother? So what they do is they run off on the fact that they're the first revealers of the light. And just maybe that's part of what they run with their ego without being fully comprehend the true message that is in there. They miss the whole part. It's a qualification. So I just appreciate your appreciation. I guess that's the best way to put it. And maybe you can assist some other brothers to come to that end because that might be what they need is to be taught by their own brothers who are the revealers of light. All right, peace to you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you, my son, because I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like, yeah, and had my phone muted because I was doing some other things. One of the things I was looking for is damn sound effects, and I wanted to play it so bad. Because it's so rare that we have a son that gets this. I wanted to play that hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. It's so rare. It's so rare that we have a son that gets this because too many of them, like Ron said, they think we're in competition. We could never be in competition, baby, because you came out of a mother. It's not possible. we can't ever be in competition. So, we have to get back to the true order of nature. We have to, for what it is, and we got to let go of these modern European false concepts that was instilled in us to destroy the family. And I'm so glad that you spoke on, sons who degrade mother by the things that they yell out to her on the street. But let's not forget, sometimes they have these degrading thoughts already in the mind. And according to the ancient writings, if you think it, it has already been done. So the sin is not in the action. The sin is in the thought. So we got to really see what it is we're thinking. Because chapter 1, man is mind. What you think, you manifest. So if you think it, it's already done. So,
Yes. And that also supports.
It's all about reflection, because we're too many of us, we're busy, I'm going to save this one over here and this one over here, and I want to tell my mother and my sister and my brother and my aunt and my uncle and my so-called boyfriend or my so-called girlfriend. Look, this is about reflect. Each and every one of us, we participate in mother remaining fallen, because, everywhere you look, the attack is on mother.
Yes.
That's where the
and
attack is. And we attack mother ourselves. Like many daughters, they don't have a good relationship with their mother, but they have an excellent relationship with their father, who may not have really been a part of their lives. That is a mental conditioning designed to divide the family, because as a daughter, you're supposed to have a relationship with your mother, because when it certain things only your mother can guide you through. But if we make sure that the sisters don't have a relationship with their mother, they're gonna be out here flying by the seat of their pants and getting into all kinds of shit. And I mean it for shit, and that is evident. If you look outside your door, turn on the TV, listen to this damn radio, it's evident what is happening to mothers today, because they don't have a relationship with their mother, because they've been set up not to have a relationship with their mother. Angry with the mother, and and so what happens, he grows up and he gets into situations with other mothers, and his intent, whether he believes it or not, is attack mother.
Yes.
And
yes.
And that's what's going on. Everybody is attacking mother. Everybody.
Yes. Yes. And
but
yes.
I'm so pleased that you seem to have woken up and truly taken on the two fun characteristics Islam to you. Yes.
He needs to be protected, because as soon as they find out that he's down on, that he gets it, just have your armor up, brother, because we don't want you to call in next month talking some bullshit because not truthful and stuff. But I want to add for real, and I do mean for real, because the brotherhood against the motherhood is real. That is what the Masonic orders are truly about. I wanted to add, and we proved that we had a picture. A Moor has a fez. It doesn't have anything on it. The tassel is never pinned down, because it's 360 degrees of knowledge. When you go into the Masonic orders, you have to pin down your tassel, because they know you will never have full knowledge if you're suppressing mother. They know this for a fact. And that's why they have to pin that down, and then they put different emblems on it. There's your distinction right there, because that womb is, and they know this too, is a representation of the womb. That nipple on the top where the strands come out, that represents the navel that you got cut from. So you see, don't let them transfer you now, transmute you into something else. But I want to add one more thing, Anna E., when you mentioned about chapter 1 and the thought. This is another good one, and make sure you pass this on to the sons because they are absolutely killing us with this one. And when I say they killing us, I mean the opposing forces to destroy the family and to take the place. It's about a reversal. The true seed is the thought. It's not the sperm. So that's right there in chapter 1. That's the seed. So that was one of the reasons why we're very careful about the proclamations that sent to Sister Anna E. And we're sorry if it takes a little time, but we're trying to do it correct. Someone had went out and, they've got proclamations they were sending to us, and they put in this stuff about the seed. And we're like, hell no. Because that was giving some onus to the son when he has none when it comes to birth. He was birthed from her. So we had to make sure we do not seal or endorse that.
Right.
Because that is an infiltration of mother right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and you know what? And I'll say this because a lot of people don't realize, they don't comprehend just how real that is. And I'm not trying to attack the sons, but you gotta get this at all costs. I mean, just like Prophet said, get this into the children at all costs. You gotta get this into the sons at all costs. Let me tell you how real this is, because I used to work in the medical industry, and I can tell you that, and then there, in terms of the nation, but they will always try to do a complete hysterectomy on the sisters for any old reason. Now, when they do a complete hysterectomy, they take in the ovaries and the uterus. What is in the ovaries?
the eggs.
The eggs. They are not throwing them eggs away.
Hello. Hello.
Islam, I work in the medical industry. They don't throw them eggs away. So we can run around and act like we don't want to accept the true science of biology, but these modern Europeans are literally blaming us because we refuse to let go of false biology. Literally blaming us. And sisters going into these institutions and they're falling for this, let me have your eggs, girl, because you got this, that, and the other wrong, and we can't fix it. And they're charging them to take their eggs, and those eggs are not being thrown away. And the reason that many sisters will go and give up their eggs is because they too have been mentally conditioned to believe that the baby came from the guy, and that's why they got no problem abandoning the child in any way or even abusing the child in any way, because they have been mentally conditioned to believe that that baby came from the son. And let me just give you an example. I'm so glad I remember to touch on this. Let me just tell you how. I want to do a Bernie Mac right here and say a few curse words, but I'm gonna try to retain myself. Let me just show you how freaking twisted this is. Now, it was just universe guiding me, because I was watching this reality show called Basketball Wives. And oh my God, there was a sister on there. I think her name was Evelyn. She was with God. And she went through this in vitro fertilization process for a whole year. Now, be clear, she was the one that went through it. He didn't have to do nothing. She had she agreed to be prodded, pricked, invaded, just so that she can get these eggs. And they was able to harvest. Hear what I'm saying? They was able to harvest a bunch of eggs. I want to say might be about 5 or 6, I think she said, that they developed. You hear what I'm saying? They developed these eggs into embryos. Year later, her and the boy broke up. So she decided to destroy her baby, her embryos, because she thinks her embryo is his. Yeah. If that is not, I'm going to say that again because people don't understand. That is some sick shit. Sick. She destroyed her embryo, her baby. She had them destroyed because she thinks her baby came from, they are no longer together. She can't have his baby, so she agreed to destroy her embryos that she thinks came from him. If that is not the most sickest shit I have ever heard, it's sick. This is how they managed to destroy Asiatic nation because of twisted, false biology like that. I'm so glad I remember to mention this because this is the platform I wanted to mention. I was so appalled, and then I was further appalled because I mentioned this to some other sisters, and they all said the same thing. They said, well, it's his baby. She couldn't have his babies. I was like, what are you talking about? They're her embryo. They're her eggs. You see? This is genocide. This is literal genocide. Because we don't want to accept false biology. We literally are murdering our baby. Literally, she destroyed her baby because she thinks her baby came from him. Now, be clear. They didn't destroy them babies. They kept that. She just released ownership of her baby to somebody else. Destroy them babies. You better be clear on that. But that is some sick. This is the sickness of our people. When we can, I told at least a half a dozen sisters what I just said, and every last one of them said, well, she's right. She can't have his baby. Right here, this false biology, because we are imposing genocide on ourselves. We are doing that. We ain't got to worry about modern Europeans imposing genocide on us. We're doing it ourselves. So let me take the next caller. It's about 3:30, and let's see. All right, our next caller, I believe, I hope, is Jayana. Islam. Are you there?
Islam. Yeah, can you hear me?
Islam. Yes.
Islam. It was so much on the table. So I originally pressed 1 because of the brother. I was over here with Annie talking about hallelujah. I just wanted to really just say thank you to the brother for his comment, because it was powerful. And also to just say that the reason, he showed how to attack his own mother, and the reason it is mother's fault is because even though people are attacking her own sons are attacking her, she continued to allow it to happen. And I say that just from an example of a mother was getting physically abused from the so-called daddy of her children, and he was physically abusing her in front of the children, and she refused to let that son go, on the basis of, well, that's their daddy. They can't grow up without their daddy. Even if it costs her to be abused physically in front of her children, and so that is the reason it's still mother's fault, because not only is she causing damage to herself, but now she's causing psychological damage to her children as well, and then creating a cycle again, because they don't want to let it go of the false biology, and and letting making sure they have a safe environment for her and her children, just on the grounds of, oh, that's their daddy. So I'm gonna allow him to abuse me in front of them and do all of this, just because it's their dad, called dad. And so that's why I say it is mother's fault, because she continued to allow her sons to abuse her. And when I say her sons, I mean in any shape or form, whether it's her mate, the son that came out of her womb, her brother, or whatever. She is allowing, or her daddy even so, allowing them to continue to abuse her and accepting that. And so that's why it is mother's fault. And so when she's carrying in the womb, and of course the womb is the first classroom, and that is the only thing she teaches her children. And so that's why it is her fault. And that's why it is being like a postpone to making sure that the children get it, because she's not even trying to get it for herself. Right. And so it is sad. It's a sad situation, but it's what's happening right now. So I just wanted to add that.
All right. Yeah. All right. I thought I had Sister Carol. I thought I saw Sister Carol in the queue wanting to comment, but I don't know what happened. But the other thing I wanted to say is, the womb, because the womb really is the only classroom. And how can I substantiate that? Look at Joshua. Joshua came out ready to rock and roll. Joshua never went to no school. Joshua came out, and he had the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and he watched and he listened as he grew up.
Well, that's say that he was. Listen, even in the those who were following Dr. York or what have you, listen, and in the Circle 7 Quran, that's what chapter 2 is about. It's the administering to Elizabeth, because she and to Mary. That's what that's about. They made sure they had science and the information, so that when he was born, he came out that way. That's the whole point of chapter 2. And then you have it again mentioned with the people who were following Dr. York. I just don't remember the exact, they used different names. Same thing. And they were saying, or you'll hear people say the angel Gabriel came and administered to Mary. They're telling telling the same story that's there in chapter 2. So it proves that when mother is right and has knowledge, that's how you produce that. The sons who have that, and the daughter. Islam. Right. You know. I gotta add one more thing. I've also heard someone say, "Oh well, when Gabriel was administering to Mary, the angel Gabriel came down. He artificially inseminated her." Well, that's how they might want to to project that. But the point is that the administering was having the knowledge, but he came down with artificial insemination. Oh man, all kinds of things. Chapter 2 is where it is. We have to have.
But
it
you
first.
know what, Jayana, I'm so glad I got you on the phone. I'm so glad you called in because Jayana sent me a PDF of something, and please, can you tell me what the source of this is? I definitely want to read it.
It was from the metaphysical. It's a metaphysical Bible dictionary. And,
all right.
Hold on. Let me see this.
Yeah.
Because I know that I
want to read this.
Do you have that? Because just because.
Okay. Yeah, I want to read the section on Mary.
What to think about Mary? Because we'll rise this.
Yeah.
Okay, great. It up too. All right. If you got it, go ahead, read it.
All right. This is page 428, and it's titled Mary. So this is about the science. This is true biology. It says this coming of the Christ body into activity is the result of an exaltation in the mind and matured by the soul, Mary. The soul is devout and expectant. It believes in the so-called miraculous as a possibility. Mary expected the birth of the Messiah. According to the promise of the Holy Spirit, she was overshadowed by that high idea. It formed in her mind the seed that quickened into the cell, and in due season, there were aggregations of cells strong enough in their activity to attract the attention of the outer consciousness. And what is Mary, the soul, the mother of Jesus, as mentioned in Luke 2, verse 34 and 35, refers to the conservation conventional principle that suffers when the new order of life and law is set up. The soul has been bound by race, tradition, and custom until it is atrophied. Now it is coming to life, and in its travail it reveals the Lord's body. Wow, that's deep.
Whoa.
And we have on page 564 under the title Sabbath. I don't know if this goes together. I'm going to read it anyway because I think it probably goes together. When you have gained power to still the stormy, undisciplined thoughts in your own mind, you can speak to the winds and they will obey you. When you have arrested the scorching currents of anger that burn up your body cells, you can quench the fire in a burning building. When you have ceased to drop into the weak, watery mental state called discouragement, despondency, and fear, you can command the waves and walk upon the waters as did Jesus. For man can rise into his natural dominion, however, he must understand and realize that God's whole plan of creation is to bring forth the perfect man. This means that man is the supreme thing in creation and that all laws are for his convenience. Universal tendency of great men to manifest this inherent excellency proves that it is natural. Most of them miss the mark by seeking to dominate other men and nations before they have mastered themselves. Oh, Lord. Islam. I would like, you know what, you got to send me the name of that book because I would like to read, telling you that chapter 1 of the Quran. Man is mine. Yes. Mother and son, they can. As told in the secret teachings of John, they both can create with the mouth, but only one can bring forth life. One. And that is mother. And wow. that is absolutely demonstrated in the secret teachings of John.
Mm-hmm.
This is about mothers, about mother. Stop allowing yourself to be manipulated and degraded by your son and other entities and beings. It's time. It's past time for Mother to wake up. It's so past time. But guess what? If you don't wake up and stop the madness, you won't be. It's as simple as that. Your mother has an obligation to maintain the order, and if the order has been corrupted, it's mother's obligation to restore it. She's the only one, as the only one, that can restore the order. And she cannot go to that place of peace until she restores the order. So we can't restore the order until we stop allowing ourselves to be manipulated. And I say, stop allowing yourself, because everybody knows when they are allowing something that is not natural and unharmonious to happen to them because it doesn't feel right. Nobody is going to tell you no when something ain't right. It doesn't feel right. So, Jay, I'm so glad you chimed in because I remembered to read that. And that's telling you that Mary manifested, the being that is referred to as Yahshua. She manifested that in her mind. And guess what? That's where every mother manifests whatever she builds. As the grand architect that she is, she builds in Solomon's temple, in the dark, with no sound and no tools. That's mother. And you know who the grand architect is, you know who the grand sheep is. And until the order is restored, we will continue individually and collectively to suffer.
You just said something that, I know we built Solomon's temple, which is the body, but how about that? She is Solomon's temple. Building Solomon's temple from the temple. And they make representations of it in statues or in buildings, and that's just a representation of that which is really real, which can't, they can't do. It just represents it. And like I said earlier, the whole thing was, give us the secrets of the temple. This is the ritual they have in the Brotherhood, in the secret society, and it's the three ruffians, and they depict it as if it's a guy, but it's really a woman that they hit in the head and buried in a shallow grave because they wanted the secrets of the temple. But those are sacredness. It's within the woman. You can't have them. You can't have it. And they were like, just wait until the temple. This is how they depict it. Wait until the temple is done. No, we don't want to wait. We want it now. We want this. And then the third one says, if you don't, we will kill you. And then hit you in the head with the stone, and then bury them in a shallow grave. I mean, we can wake up to this. Not real death. But that's a lower level initiation. That's why I say the brotherhood against the motherhood is very real. Right?
This has been some food for thought for the mothers to wake up, sons to recognize, and I think if we all individually.
I'm sorry. Before you close out, you got that other son's contact. The one that gets it that we sing hallelujah to.
Oh no! But no, I don't. If you're still listening, can you also send a text message to MHHS Eyes Wide Open?
We're not gonna call you. We just want to know who you are. That's all right. And if there's a son is confused, we'll say, look, this brother right here, he might be able to explain it to you better. No.
A referral. Yes.
And there's some other sons. We're not that are there, but
That's right. There are other sons. There ain't a whole hell of a lot of them, but there's some other ones. Like for real. Like I can't count them on one finger here and with fingers left over. But that concludes this broadcast. I thank everybody for participating, joining, listening, building, growing, and make sure you comprehend man's business is about reflection, because this is about you correcting yourself, nobody else. So reflect and get to working. Peace and love. We'll see you Tuesday for Principles of Nationality in Action. Islam.